Welcome guys to another deck tech video. This one's going to be on FTP Monument, and it's a lot of fun to play. You might recognize the list from Musok's Invitational deck list, created by Battle Rights, member of Great Parliament, their team. And at the end of this video, there will be a small interview with him discussing some of the cards and why he built it and what made them play it and some of the things interacting in it. But yeah. Without further ado, here's the list. So yeah, first thing, this isn't the original list. If you want the original list, I will have a link down below of the list that they were played in an Invitational. But this is what I've been playing. We've been playing this deck a couple nights on stream now. Battle Rats has joined me, and we've been going back and forth on some numbers and some cards that need to go in and out. We've tried different things like Trailblaze. We've tried Levitate for the card draw, blowing off Aegis and stuff. This is currently the list we're piloting now. As usual, I will go over the units, then spells, and then the power base. But before I go really into the length of that, you really need to know what Moment of Creation does. Play 2 Sentinels with power toughness equal to the number of spells in your void. We are playing a heavy amount of spells, but let's get started. So 10 units. The first unit on up is Sandstorm Titan, costing 4 endurance. Units can't fly. Great 4-drop. It is a Sentinel. 6-drop Kurox. Flying, +2/+2 while you have a relic. We don't really play relics on our deck main board, so that won't happen. But ultimate, when Kurox hits the enemy player, if you have 5 or more spells in your void, create and draw a Dragon's Eye. For anyone who doesn't know what a Dragon's Eye is, it costs 0. When played, you draw 3 cards. And, you know, getting 5 spells in the graveyard isn't that hard with this deck. Like I said, we're playing a pretty hefty number of spells. Followed out with 4 of Heart of the Vaults. Now this card is just amazing. It's a 6/6 for 6. Awesome stats. Warp, so it goes off the top of your deck. So it gets those control, mid-range, grindy matchups. You know, getting a free card without having to draw, it's awesome. And then when you summon it, it deals 2 damage to an enemy and draws you another card and reduces that card cost by 2. So even if you warp it off the top for a free card value, you draw another card. So you're up on cards already. And it's a unit that does this. It's really good. And is a very pretty premium. But anyway, moving on to the spells. We have a 4 of Permafrost. Now this isn't a spell, it is a curse, but I usually combine spells and curses. But this is very important to note that this does not work off Moment. But it's definitely there for the mid-range matchups or the aggro decks. The decks that like to come out really fast, or the mid-range decks that like to throw out weapons on units. As long as they don't have endurance, Permafrost is pretty good. Seek Power. This deck requires triple time, triple fire, and double primal as of right now in its current build state. So 4 Seek of Powers is very necessary for this deck. Taylor's Intervention as a 1 of. It's important to note the gain 4 life is really relevant against aggro. And Silence an Enemy is really good against Mactos, Champions of Cunnings, Tavrods. Even silencing Tavrod, not allowing him to have his ability, is pretty cool. But one cool thing is 8 of the 10 units you're playing are Sentinels. Also, the unit from Moment of Creation is a Sentinel, so you can actually recur something back if you need to. If they're playing a removal spell and you want to protect it, or you want to just get great value with Heart of the Vault, returning it back to your hand to recast it, just to draw an extra card and deal 2 damage is pretty cool. Torch, deal 3 damage. Torch is OP, you know. Pretty good card. Equivocate. Now, this is a card that a lot of people are on the fence. Is this good or is this bad? I really don't have an answer here for you right now, but I will say this is a lot of fun to play. Puts the unit back into the owner's hands and transforms the unit into a random unit with the same cost. There's some quirky things you can do with this. Later on, I will explain. But it's really cool to bounce a Tavrod. I have to say, bouncing a Tavrod, not letting them have an ability, bouncing anything that has Destiny, Revenge Tricks, it's pretty cool. And then Champion of Cunning, not allowing them to have a Champion of Cunning. I'm a big fan of Equivocate. I don't know I like it as a bounce effect and an answer to some of the really big threats that you need to have answers in this kind of style deck. I feel like it'll be better home to mid-range aggro decks as a tempo play, but there's some games where you just go turn 4 Sandstorm Titan, turn 5 removal, and they're trying to play threats to keep up with your beating of 5 damage a turn, and then you just bounce their best threat, untap, keep swinging. Find the Way. 2 reasons for this. As I said before, like Seek the Way, it finds you the influence you need to cast your spells. But it is also an echo spell, so that means you get 2 copies of this when you draw it. So you can increase the number of spells going into the graveyard for a moment. Purify, silencing those pesky units that I've previously mentioned, Macto, Tavrod, and all that. It's really good for. Dealing 3 damage for the aggro matchups. Getting rid of some units is also nice. Strategize. Draw 2, then put a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. Now, if you notice, a lot of these removals is kind of situational. It kind of depends on your matchup. And a lot of our creature units win cons are on the deep end. So Strategize does 2 things. It allows us to draw more cards than our opponent, which is always good. And if our removal isn't suited for the matchup, it allows us to pitch the removal. Or if we're needing power, pitch our heavy end cards to the bottom to try to draw power. Or, you know, if we have too much power in hand and a little extra, you know, we can just ship one of those powers to the bottom and keep drawing. Hellstorm, deal 3 damage to each unit. Really good board wipe for the aggro matchups. Even the mid-range decks that, you know, Hellstorm plus Torch usually does a pretty good effective job of clearing most of the board. Hellstorm, Purify, things like that. Polymorph, I have to say, Polymorph in this deck is probably one of the few decks I like actually casting Polymorph. We don't have Slay, we don't have Vanquish for those pesty Tavrods, Mactos, or, you know, Champion of Cunnings. So, you know, another good answer for it. Wisdom of Elders, draw 2 for 3. Just kind of want to outdraw our opponent. And for the moment everyone's been waiting for, Moment of Creation. Play 2 Sentinels with power and toughness equal to the number of spells in your void. Man, these things get really big really fast. So a little quirkiness you can do with the deck that we've had to do against some matchups before. If you get Moment of Creation to 10 and cast it, you get 2 10/10 Sentinels, and if you equivocate one of your Sentinels back, there's only 2 cards in the game currently that are 10 costs. It's a Bond Dino, that's pretty terrible. But Scourge, 8/8, that when cast, your opponent can't cast spells. So if you're playing against control, it's kind of cute to do. You can also go higher than that and get Spirit of Resistance for, I think, the 13th drop, maybe 12th drop, I don't know. Or you can go up as high as 16 on Moment of Creation, find you a Nova Quake, equivocate one of them, get you a Nova Quake Titan. And what's cool with Nova Quake Titan, if you bond him with a Sentinel, he bounces every unit on the board that's your opponent's back to their hand. Now, these are 1 in a million games that you'll probably never see, but it is fun when it actually happens. Anyway. And your opponents won't be expecting it, I promise you. It's a lot of fun to do that. We're going on to the power base now. We are playing 26 power with 3 fire sigils, 3 time sigils, 2 primal, 2 cobalt waystone, 4 crest of impulse. Like I said, we're not really doing anything early game except removal, so it's pretty easy to play a lot of crests, and we're playing the colors that allows us to play a lot of crests. Seed of Impulse, 4 crest of wisdom, 2 Seed of Wisdom, and 2 Crest of Fury. Yeah, so that's the list. So without further ado, let's get to the gameplay. For game number 1. Let's see. Definitely can't keep. Let's go ahead and shuffle that up. So we're good on time. We need 1 more primal for this to be really good. But we have no fire, so let's work on our influence a little bit. So we're gonna start off with crest. That's a fire. I'm happy to have that one. So we can do a couple different things. We can make him think we're Elysian, which is probably what I want to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my second primal for my wisdom, and just cast that. no real reason to let him know. Heart of the Vault costs 6, so we don't have a fire spell in our hand. If we played Seed of Impulse and then there was no pause, he would know there's no fast spell in our hand. So let's see. I think this is the last time. I think from now on we're gonna have to play our primal or our Seed of Impulse. Crown of Possibilities. This is gonna be a lot of fun. Wisdom. Yep. Now we're good on all influence, and yeah, let's play the game. Hopefully, bad thing is we're kind of a late game, mid-game deck, and Crown is really hard to battle that. It's really easy for Crown just to outpace your mid-range decks. This is one of the few times where there's not a lot of spells in the graveyard, so Kurox is not going to be doing his thing. It's still 5/5 in the air, though. I really wanted to show you guys the animation of this in premium form because it's really neat, but I don't think our Kurox is to live long. Deadly. Do we want to bounce a random 6-drop back to our hand? Maybe. I don't know. I do know we're gonna probably lead off with just a pass. Let's cast this one. This probably should have waited for the first 2 crowns or cockroaches. My bad. Yeah. Life still. Okay, yeah, we're gonna. Let's see, how big is our 3/3s? Yeah. Let's bounce back our 6/6 Kurox and see what we hit. That's pretty terrible. It does have ambush, which is kind of nice, right? So we're gonna play our power. Play Find the Way. And then when he goes to attack in, we're gonna have Pionic Optic Guardian to mess some numbers up. I don't think it's gonna do too much, but it is pretty cool that's there. And these moments are, you know, they're only 5/5s right now. Where you are going to go ahead and cast Find the Way to get that last power. And we're going to play Strategize. And what did we find? We found a Purify and a Find the Way. Well, let's go ahead and put one of the depleted powers back on the bottom. And then we're going to use Find the Way to get it back. And we're just going to purify this 3/3. And we can go ahead and just play power. Kind of want to hold a power at this late of the game though, because strategize. So we're probably not going to play both of these power. Intervention, huh? And he didn't attack. That's interesting. How big is our monuments? 9/9s? That's pretty good. They're not gonna win 9/9 games though, so let's go ahead and silence that. And go ahead and cast these 2 10/10s. Or 11/11s, I'm sorry. They're 11/11s once that spell hits the graveyard. Permafrost. Oof. Strategize. we got Heart of the Vault here. That's pretty good. Let's put that on the bottom. Kind of want to get value out of this, so we are going to play Heart of the Vault, targeting his life total because it really doesn't matter. And we're gonna cast Permafrost. Swing for 11. Does he have ambush? Probably. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and swing. Woo! Sandstorm Titan coming in for the big block. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and kill that. Hold on. Does he have Echo? Yeah, he already has an Echo unit in the graveyard, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, we're gonna go kill that one. Yeah. Maybe the correct play was to permo that, but I didn't see the ambush Sandstorm Titan play. Oh, it has ambush too, so that's not cool. Definitely keeping wisdom on top. So we're gonna pass and hopefully cast these ambush cockroaches. He only cast one though, so it's a little annoying. Take 6. Free value. So we can swing. We know he's going to play that other one, which is a 7/7. It's fine. We knew that was going to happen. We just are making him play it our way. We're going to cast Wisdom to draw. We're gonna cast Strategize. Probably put Seed of Wisdom on the bottom. Yeah. And yeah, we're just gonna cast Perma on this 6/6, and possibly just play Vault Waste Swamp. Yeah, that feels good. Feels really strong. Man, this deck's so fun to play. Seek Power has nothing to go get, so we're probably just going to hold it for now. So we're going to probably start doing damage now. And I was saying probably, like, yeah, we're doing that. So we're going to Purify, which will silence the curse on us. And then we're just going to Permafrost this guy and get in for some real damage. We still have Polymorph for his next threat. We're going to Crest first. Maybe we can put something to the bottom and find Heart of the Vault. I don't really care for Sandstorm in this situation. I mean, it really doesn't matter, but... So I'd much rather find like a Torch at this point where we're getting his life total so low, or a Moment, or Heart of the Vault. But putting that card at the bottom gave us a chance. But yeah, that's game 1. Y'all saw the powerhouse of this deck, being able to do all the fun stuff. Let's go on to the next game. Alright, here we are for game number 2. I like this hand as a keeper on the opening. Don't have to mulligan. I would keep this hand on play or draw. So we still have to find a little bit of the influence, but hey, you know, that's common. We can't have everything in our opening hand, but we could, and then we could not have spells, so we would be upset about that. Start off with Crest of Fury. Let's see, do we want that? We only one fire away from our Sentinel. Let's see, but I really... this is where I'm kind of greedy, whereas if you weren't greedy, you might would keep this on top. I know we need power, but I kind of want to find some action Just because I want to see what's going on. We got 3 turns before we need a power, and plus we have strategized, so the greed there. We're gonna strategize. Got crest. Probably gonna pitch this second equivocate. We're probably against blue armory, and I don't really think equivocates are that good. I mean, they're gonna return Akaris into something crazy good, and Throne Wardens are already enough of a problem, so we're gonna play Crest of Impulse. Hellstorm will not be good in this matchup, probably. And there's a Heart of the Vault on top. Just nice premium. Like I said, this thing looks awesome. And see, we're not even short on the fire influence. We might actually be short on power, but when it comes time to it, but we're not short on influence. Oh my god, so many Heart of the Vaults already. Why are they coming to the party too early? Don't they know they're not supposed to be here this early? They're supposed to arrive late. That's how you work. You're supposed to be fashionably late. Enforcer? I'm actually okay with just attacking. I know I act like that was a question, but you can do Runehammer plus Torch, and then we could just equivocate and return this back, which is pretty cool. Oh, okay, this isn't Blue Armory. This is the plate deck. So yeah, we're just gonna bounce this guy back to his hand. Weapon falls off. He did unfortunately get the triple Warcry, but you know, it's okay. Our deck's gonna naturally give us our power we want. That's just how it works. It's gonna suck if I miss the power on this play. It gave it to us. I mean, we'll be a little late, but whatever. I'm okay with a Purify play here. I mean, if he uses a torch, he uses a torch. Wow. Probably think... I mean, I didn't see no pause, so... And now we're just going to start beating down with these Heart of the Vaults. Waiting. Patiently. Not much going on here. You know, we got a pretty good hand. We're gonna go ahead and swing. Maybe his Ellen's Choice, probably not. Yeah, we definitely have what? How many spells in the graveyard? 1, 3. We only have 3, so Kurox is definitely not better than Heart of the Vault. That's just gonna draw us cards anyway. Moment of Creation isn't that good right now, but we are early on in the games. I kind of want to see what he got with that 3-drop. He's not going to let us see. It's always my favorite part of the game is like, please play that 3-drop. I really want to see that 3-drop, what you got. But it doesn't look like our opponent's going to show us. That is a 6/6. Pretty good. Pretty good. We are just going to attack in, though. He chooses to block the Titan. We just win with the Heart of the Vault, deal 2 damage. Oh, that's the card you got, right? Because there's no influence on the top. That's cool. Yeah, so we're just gonna attack. Usually, if they have a pump spell, they're gonna use it here to block the Titan, or not to block the Heart of the Vault. I mean, like block plus pump, which I'm okay with. So he doesn't have it, which means he probably doesn't have it for this effect. And then here we're just going to play Crest. I like the Purify now. Now that I know what I'm playing against. Plus we're only one spell away from having enough spells in the graveyard for Curox, which won't be that relevant. Wow, this is a Moment deck, and we haven't got to win a game with Moment yet, but the deck just plays some really good cards. I think that's win. Yeah, and we're just going to swing for 12. He has to block one, and Heart of the Vault wins the game. So I feel like we almost played Praxis, except for Equivocate and Strategize, which was very necessary to answer the guy with the weapon really early on. Okay, welcome to game 3. Yeah, I really like this hand. Keep this hand on the play or draw. Love having opening crests and love having draw card removal and, you know, filtering. I'm going to lead with the Crest of Impulse, probably. No, it's probably Crest of Fury, actually. The Moment's pretty good. We definitely have the ability to start casting that stuff. Looks like we're playing against aggro. So we're going to slow it up a little bit and just purify this before it gets out of hand. Next turn we're going to play Find the Way plus either Depleted Power or Crest. We're going to go get our second Primal and be done with that. They're both always going to be in play depleted. The only reason is to hold this and hand over Crest is because of Seats. Seats will come into play untapped if you have access to a Primal, or if you have access to a Sigil. So that was the reasoning. Yep, take 2. Champion of Chaos, pretty good card. We're just gonna Torch and Permo here. Just play a Depleted Power. Unfortunately, can't really do anything else besides that. His next threat we're gonna Torch as well. And then we're gonna proceed to trying to fix our hand out a little bit. Ooh, that's a target we can't torch. Probably should have killed that, then permoed that. But as we've seen on my stream before, I'm never punished. Ever. That's not true. I get punished quite often. So we're going to Find the Way before we Wisdom. And that's to thin our deck out from the chances of drawing stuff. Okay, we got some pretty good stuff. Let's go ahead and play Crest of Impulse. This will let us play our moments, which we definitely want to, so... Obliterate. He could be on double madness, and that is one reason why you would want to hold up. And he's not really putting any pressure on us, but still, I think we want to cast these guys. Good thing to note, if he does madness, I will probably swap with him. I'll just trade both moments off to keep my life total at a hefty. I'm so used to having my stream on that I look in left, waiting for my stream chat to blow up on misplay texts, but yeah. Permafrost for that. I don't think I'm gonna need this, but I'm trying to think of a world where it's important to have this. I think I'm just gonna swing 14. Play Find the Way, get a primal, play primal and hold up, equivocate. Unfortunately, these 3 games you're not gonna see the premium interaction of this, but you should definitely come by the chat one day and ask to see it because it is awesome to look at. He is gonna kill that, huh? Thinking, is it worth saving? It's 7 force unit. What's good at 7? I'll let him kill it just because I have a Kurox in hand because I really want to show you guys what Kurox looks like. Our opponent's probably not even going to let us do it, though. That's the bad thing about it. Yeah, swing 7. Fight. And we'll play this out. Do y'all see it? It's going to be so cool when it goes off. Look at that. That is so pretty. It's gorgeous. Cinder Yeti coming down to play. No blocks. Sure. And you start to see the card go off at the end. So yeah. All right, guys. I'm here with the interview part of the video, and I'm accompanied by Battle Rights, the creator of it. And yeah, would you like to say hello to everyone?
Hello, everybody. Batteries. Greetings.
Yeah. So right off the bat, like, what made you guys play this deck? I know Moosox played this in the Invitational, and it looked like a lot of fun. But what made y'all come together and play this deck?
So it's always been a little pet deck of mine, as a few people know. And I had convinced my teammates, Muxos and Dr. Hero, both to like play around with it and try it out after Equivocate and Hailstorm both got added with Dead Reckoning, because I thought they were both really strong cards to add to the FTP Moments kit. So they played around with it, and they both liked it, and they were having good success with it on ladder. And Muxos brought it to ETS, and he went 4-2. But if he wouldn't have punted an unlosable game, he would have went 5-1 and wouldn't have missed on breakers.
An unlosable game.
Yeah. It was. He was against Felon, and he had like sunken towers out and like making a bunch of units, and Like he had a bunch of blockers, and there was no way he would ever get attacked in for lethal. And then he made a bad attack and got lethal.
Fair enough. That's
um,
cards in the sideboard, so I don't have that up. But yeah, Sunken Tower was in the
oh
sideboard
yeah,
of this.
yeah, yeah. So he was playing with that and he liked it. And then when the Invitational came up, it just happened to be his most practiced deck. He hadn't practiced with too many other decks, and he did like the deck, and he still thought it was like had a pretty good place in the meta. And so that's why he played it. Against like Argenport mid range, like he didn't think it's that good. I thought it was all right because you have Equivocate to bounce all their units, and then Moment of Creation just beats up mid range. Like it just most mid range decks are trying to go big, and so if you go bigger than them, they don't really win the game.
Yeah, they get pretty big. I've had some pretty interesting size ones. Okay, so the list that I'm currently on, which is the list that you were on with me on stream with, and we were messing with. We've messed with a couple of different iterations of this deck. We've added more draw cards, cut a few more removal out to add more the ability to thin our deck out. I think we had Levitate in there at one time to pop
Yeah.
Aegis.
Yep.
But moving forward with the list that is currently available right now, what would you do to change it? Or I know you're a big fan of not just having a consistent 75, but always warping it. But cards that people should look out to try in this list, what do you think?
So things to keep in mind with this deck is, I think it's really good when it's able to use Permafrost and Torch and now Equivocate and Purify to its fullest. Like when those cards can answer a lot of the threats in the meta, and usually they can, especially now that you have Equivocate kind of backing it up. Um, I feel like it's pretty well positioned because you can just use those really cheap and efficient removal to like draw and filter your deck. And while you're doing all this removing and filtering your deck, you're building up to these giant moment of creations that when you finally play them on turn 7, sometimes it's later because finding power can be odd in the deck sometimes. um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it's pretty powerful when it can do that, when it
Yeah.
punishes the meta for having units that it removes effectively.
Yeah. The little joke there was I've been playing the deck and I've been wanting to play Find the Way so much because I feel like it is needed. Because the list he sent me had Levitates and Trailblazers, and like
Slightly experimental version.
it was fun. It did some things. It did some fun. One thing I like to note that this list does run Polymorph, and it's one of the few decks I feel comfortable playing Polymorph in. A lot of times, I'm not a big fan of playing Polymorph, but like you said, AP mid can be hard if you don't find Equivocate. So being able to just turn their frogs, their Tavrods into frogs is pretty good. So as of right now, there's no cards you would change. You just some of these cards are just staples, and then you got to mess with other things.
For the most part, like you kind of keeping strategize, obviously. Seek power, you have to keep those because that without those, you're not like finding a consistent power base to make the deck work. Sandstorm Titan, like you want to play this deck when it's can use the cards it has to the fullest, like Permafrost, Torch. I think those two cards are pretty key. Like when you can use both of those cards in the meta well, then this deck has potential to be strong.
I got you.
Because you can just sit and play crests, and you cast Strategize and Wisdom. It enables you to play all these cards that you're just kind of sitting spinning your wheels, but you're still interacting with the board while doing so.
Fair enough. So Moosox, like you said, he picked this deck because he had the most games with it. That being said, what was he expecting, or y'all expecting in the invitationals?
So we were expecting Argenport mid. I think that was a little bit to be expected. Time mid range as well. We definitely didn't expect the time mid range representation to go down at all. So that was something to keep in mind. We wanted to be able to beat that. Uh, Control, we wanted to have a little bit. We Muxos felt that the deck had a really was well positioned against control as well because it could grind them out by playing Heart of the Vaults and Moment of Creations that it has to spend 2 removal spells on, and you're sitting playing wisdoms and more crests than they are, so you're kind of like drawing more gas than they are and putting the pressure on them.
All right, fair enough. All right, that'll be it for the interview. This is the deck tech for FTP moment, or what does what do you like to call it, Battle Rats?
I've called it Curious Creations before, um, but I think FTP Moment is what it's most known by.
Fair enough. I want to thank Battle Rats, part of Team Great Parliament, for coming up here and doing the interview with me. I really appreciate it. That'll be at the end of the video. Hopefully, if you guys liked it, there's a subscribe button down below. Please click it. And thank you for watching. And if you want the list from the original list for the invitationals, it'll also be down below in the link as well. Stay tuned for other Deck Tech videos.